Hi, I'm Maria Enke with Justice for All Ventura County, and I'm here with George Sandoval with Veterans for Peace, Chapter 112. George, thank you so much for being with me today.
It's my pleasure.
Tell me a little bit about your background, your service, and how you became involved with Veterans for Peace.
Well, first of all, I was born and raised in Oxnard, and my parents immigrated at a very young age from Mexico, and ended up settling in Oxnard, which at that time in the the 40s and the 50s, 60s, Oxnard was a great place to live with 45,000 people. Everybody knew each other, so it was really a great place to live. I'm the fifth of seven kids. My parents were religious Roman Catholics. They believed in not only their faith, they believed in hard work, they believed in education. And being responsible for yourself. And so the older I get, the more sentimental I get about my parents, because they were great role models and did such a great job. Went to school in Santa Clara, grammar school and high school. And then at 17, I went away to college at St. Mary's College up in Moraga, across from San Francisco. I was there for a couple of years, and then I ended up having an accident in college, and I ended up leaving college. And then right after that, this is 1967, the draft was chasing everyone, and they caught me, and I ended up being drafted in January of 1968. Spent 2 years in the service and 1 year in Vietnam. And that's how that started my early years.
And what did you do when you came back home? What did you end up doing for a career?
Well, so as soon as I got back, I immediately jumped back into college. We all knew we were going to be college graduates. My brother became a lawyer, and he studied, graduated in 1961. So we all knew we were going to go to college. So that's what I did. Ended up studying radio, TV, and then got into filmmaking and got a degree in filmmaking. I had spent some time in Los Angeles in the film business. I came back to Ventura. I spent time as a theater director here locally. And then I started my company called West End Productions in 1992, where, it was a production company doing commercials, documentaries, and a variety of media, visual media.
And you are now, or you recently got involved with Veterans for Peace. Why did you decide to get involved with this organization? Tell us a little bit about them. What did they do?
So what happened last year, I went down to Tijuana in November of 2019. My brother, the lawyer in San Francisco, was advising a deported veteran. And right in the middle of that, unfortunately, he passed away. So my sister-in-law called me and said she wanted to continue his work. So, would I go to Tijuana with her? And I said, absolutely. So we went to Tijuana. We met another veteran for peace, George Johnson, and we stayed there for a week. And that's how I got involved. I started filming, meeting deported veterans, meeting Veterans for Peace. We went to refugee camps. We saw the wall. I just filmed as much as I could. And then we came back. And then when I came back, I said, well, the guys I met, the Veterans for Peace, I was very impressed with their hard work and with their diligence and with their passion to support these deported veterans. So I joined it, the Chapter 112 in Ventura County. That's how I got involved, and so I'm a member now with them.
And you are now working on a documentary about the deported veterans that Veterans for Peace is helping down in Tijuana. Let's take a look at the trailer that you put together for the documentary.
First names of deported veterans all along this wall for about 30 to 40 feet.
right now there's a law that says if you join the military and you're not a citizen, the military must do everything in its power to provide you with a path to citizenship within your first year in the military.
My recruiter said that I was going to be a American citizen. Okay. That's what he said. You know, after that, I never worried about it until I got in trouble.
There's been probably close to 5, maybe 10,000 veterans that have been deported.
I'm an American. I just happen to be born in Mexico. That's what I've been saying all along, because that's what I am. I was born in Mexico, yes I was, but I went to the United States legally when I was 2 years old. So that's really all I know.
Luis Alvarez was told by his company commander in the Marine Corps that by being in the Marine Corps he became a citizen.
When they got deported, they would have been better off getting a bullet through the head than suffering in the streets here in Tijuana.
So Luis stayed in touch with a lot of with some of the people that he served with, including his company commander, who had told him that. And when they deported him, he got a deposition from the company commander saying that he was instructed to tell non-citizen enlistees that they became a citizen by being in the military, and he thought they did.
Because there was a lot of people using drugs, shooting heroin, and I had to walk around with a big old knife in my pocket because I slept on the streets, you know. And it was a rough place because I felt and people dying, you know what I mean? And I didn't want that to happen to me.
Because I know there's thousands and thousands of veterans that have died here. Deportation was basically a death sentence for these guys.
That's how life is here in Mexico for a deported veteran, you know what I mean? Like, it's so close, that wall's right there, and so far away, you know, you can't go over there.
George, that trailer is so emotional to see these veterans where the promises that the country made them have been broken. What is their life like down in Tijuana?
Well, as you listen to Felix say, it was a very rough. He was homeless. You know, it can be a dangerous place to live. He said he had to live with a knife in his pocket. You know, so it's tough. The office down there for Veterans for Peace are supporting these veterans, helping them get a job, helping them find a place to live. There's also another organization, it's called the Bunker, another office that some of the veterans can actually live there for a short period of time. And you know, basically trying to help them survive. That's the whole thing. So it's rough in the sense of money. I don't know what kind of money they have. Felix didn't have very little money.
They don't have access to their benefits once they're deported.
That's correct. Once they're deported, they cannot go to the VA. And these, like I said, some of these guys are older, in late 60s, into their 70s. And they cannot can't cross the border, can't go to San Diego to the VA. So they're denied their rights, you know.
They were told they were going to become citizens. There's a story that you told me about a local gentleman from Ventura County that was deported.
Yes, there's one individual who's a Vietnam veteran, late 60s. He was on his way to church on a Sunday, all dressed up in a suit. And right before he went into church, he got abducted by ICE, took him away. And the family didn't know where he was at. If ICE gets you, you get no lawyer, you get no phone call. And before he knew it, he was in Tijuana, and then he called from there. So I was trying to film him. I'm trying to film the family and see if we can get that story. Because you need and not only is the veteran who is suffering, but it's also the family.
Right.
You know, the wife and the kids are going, you know, where's my dad? And you know, and some of these veterans, some of the deported veterans are like in their 30s, and they have little kids, and they've been gone. I mean, it is a rough thing.
When really they were made a promise that they were going to become citizens by serving this country, serving our country, their country, and that promise has been broken.
Right, that's correct. When you go into the service, you part of your package deal is to become a citizen. And that was our government, our military did not honor that. You know, they think, some of the soldiers think that they're citizens, because when you're first day in, you have to say this oath, the oath to God, country, president, and the Constitution. So they think they're citizens. Well, they're not. And so that's a tragedy. There's a whole thing. And then later on in their life, they get into trouble. I mean, a lot of these guys are from the war zone, so they're PTSD, and they self-medicate or they get into other stuff. And so they have a record, but then they serve their time, but later they're on a list. ICE has a list of non-citizens, and they go after them with a crime record. So it should just never what should have happened. They should have been made citizens when they were in the service.
And this has been going on for a long time. This is not a one administration.
Right. It has been going on for about 20 years. As one of the veterans say, there's 5,000 to 10,000 veterans in TGA and in Mexico alone.
Wow.
So when you are stopped, if you're a veteran who's been stopped by ICE, you're supposed to take it up to another level and say, you were in the service, so let's see what we can do to keep you there. They don't do that. They just say, you committed a crime, and they get rid of you. And some of these guys take a year or two in detention before they're deported. I mean, it's just incredible. It is just incredible. So
thank you so much for shining a light on this issue. Many of us don't know that has been going on, that it continues to go on, and that these brave people that have served our country are not getting back what they deserve. This is not the first time you have highlighted veterans for Ventura County. In 2015, you also did an exhibit with Ventura County Museum. Tell us a little bit about that exhibit, why you decided to do it, and the response that you received.
So, you know, back in 2013, 2014, I mean, keep track of Vietnam veterans. Once you've been in Vietnam, you know, you're in a privileged class, even though we were treated badly, but you know, so I kept reading that these veterans were dying. So I said, what can I do? So I said, you know, I'm a filmmaker. I know I can make a documentary. And then I thought, you know, I'd worked with the Museum of Ventura County on exhibits and some stuff. So I thought, basically what I did is I created an exhibit, and I put together this proposal on how to do this. So I met with Ana Bermudez, and I met with the current executive director back in 2014 and proposed this. They liked the idea, and we just moved forward. You know, and some of the issues we covered was like the draft. We covered our foreign policy from the World War II to 1975. You know, we covered Tet Offensive. So we covered it. We made an educational exhibit especially focusing on Ventura County veterans. I did 2 documentaries, and the first documentary was really about the grunts, the soldiers who really did the fighting, were in the jungles. I was not in the jungle, thank God, when I was there, but they were, and I really wanted to honor them for surviving and doing what they had to do. And the other component of the exhibit, which was showing 106 young men who had died. They're forgotten. Nobody knows anything about them. They don't never, you know, it's just out of sight, out of mind. I went on the internet and I downloaded 106 images and created these plaques, and you see them as part of this exhibit. I mean, it was an honor to do that.
The name of the exhibit was We Remember?
The name of it was called We Remember Ventura County to Vietnam and Back.
And people can find out more about the documentary you're working on right now on deported veterans and about this exhibit on your website.
My website is productions.tv. And I have information on, right, on the documentaries and the exhibits there.
There is one image that I remember seeing from your exhibit about a veteran who's about 17 years old or looks about 17 years old. And it's so very powerful. And we thank you for shining a light on this and not letting these important stories of veterans be forgotten.
Okay, well, thank you very much. It was a pleasure to spend some time with you.
Thank you, George.
Bye-bye.